welcome back. Welcome back to Press Starts. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Carson Zadroga.
And this is it. This is the very last episode of this season. Its semester has gone by really quick.
It's crazy. We'll be graduating or something else.
Yeah, and finals is here, and it's gonna be a war zone.
It's really like hammering us in, man.
Yeah. Wait, you said hammer?
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. We have a Warhammer segment by Justin. I think he wants to talk about it or something.
God help us. I guess we should go into that, right?
Yeah, we should see what he has to say.
Get it done with. All right.
Space Marine 2 has come out in the past few months, and it's taken the world by storm. Dedicated fans and newcomers alike have gathered en masse to follow Lieutenant Titus through the next leg of his journey, fighting the scourge of heretics and Xenos in the name of the God Emperor of mankind. I've played it myself, and oh man, it's so much fun. I cannot recommend it enough. But you might be asking me, Justin, what are Space Marines?
Huh?
Why are they so big?
Huh?
Why are that guy's eyes purple?
Huh?
What does he mean by his angels?
Huh?
Why are they blue?
Huh?
Who are these space bugs?
Huh?
Why are they blue?
Huh?
Are these things aliens? Why are they blue?
Huh?
Well, I've got answers to all of these questions and more. I've been a Warhammer fan for a good few years now, and I can make sure that you go into Space Marine 2 with all the knowledge you need. This is a crash course on Warhammer 40K. There's a lot in the world of Warhammer. It's a fictional universe that's been continuously expanding over the last 40 real-life years of its history. So I'm going to start with something simple, something that you should know before you start playing Space Marine 2. What is a Space Marine? Space Marines are the elite transhuman super soldiers of the Imperium of Man. They were created to be commanded by the Primarchs and are partially genetically their sons. They're organized into chapters of only 1,000 Marines after the Legions were broken up following the Horus Heresy and the creation of the Codex Astartes. They're the Emperor's second attempt at transhuman super soldiers after the Thunder Warriors used in the Unification Wars to unite Terra under the Emperor's rule. The Space Marines actually wiped out the Thunder Warriors at the Emperor's command, fully replacing the unstable soldiers with their genetically stable superiority. Okay, wait, I feel like I'm losing you guys. Let me back up a little bit. What are the Primarchs? In the game, they make a couple of mentions of the Primarch or other things in that vein, but what are they? They're Primarchs of the 19 sons of the Emperor of Mankind, who each have their own legion assigned to them. They all have their own powers and personalities and imparted their cultures and values onto their legions of Space Marines, but unfortunately half of them fell to the ruinous powers of chaos in the Horus Heresy, which left most of the Primarchs scattered and the Emperor mortally wounded on the Golden Throne. No, I'm still losing you guys, I can tell. Okay. What is chaos? So the ruinous powers of chaos are 4 gods in the warp, each representing different negative aspects of the universe: violence, excess, disease, and blue. The gods have both demons and mortals under their control to expand their influence and ultimately plunge the galaxy into eternal chaos. They work together to not only scatter the Primarchs across the galaxy, but also corrupted half of them in the Horus Heresy in an attempt to either destroy the Emperor or turn him into a chaos god himself and join them in the warp. What is the warp? The warp is a separate plane of existence full of all manner of beasties that you'd never want to be anywhere near, including every demon and all 4 chaos gods. However, it is essential to travel through the warp to achieve faster than light travel, unless you go through the Webway, is the dimension through which the Eldar use for faster than light travel, which has been messed up from the birth of Slaanesh at the hands of the Eldar and splitting them into 2 factions, the Eldari and the Drukhari, and some other offshoots that we don't have time for. The Emperor is trying to make the Webway accessible to humans and almost succeeded if it wasn't for the Horus Heresy. So basically, those Primarchs I mentioned earlier were being raised by the galaxy's worst father, and half of them decided to side with the Chaos Gods against the Emperor and rebel, which caused countless casualties, including multiple Primarchs, and mortally wounded the Emperor of Mankind. Is exactly what the name suggests, the leader of the Imperium of Man with godlike powers, who was trapped on the Golden Throne and fed the souls of 1,000 psychic people every day to keep the Astronomicon open, taking advantage of the fact that he's the most powerful human. Psychers are mortals with a close connection to the warp. Their souls shine brighter in the warp, and they can channel the energies of the Immaterium as various powers, though this can also often lead them to be more susceptible to chaos corruption. As a result, most sanctioned Psychers of the Imperium are closely watched by the Inquisition. Nobody expects the Imperial Inquisition! They are the not-so-secret police of the Imperium of Man, watching out for anything from chaos corruption to Xenos collaboration to what day it even is. They work closely with every part of the Imperium of Man is the last bastion of humanity in the world of 40k, unless you count the Tau Corvesa auxiliaries, but we go assailed on all sides by chaos, xenos, and corruption from within. It is a stagnant empire, slowly decaying from neglect and paranoia. They share a symbiotic relationship with the Adeptus Mechanicus, are people so fascinated by technology that they decided to turn themselves into technology. They worship the Omnissiah, also known as the Machine God, which is supposedly within Mars, though there's a chance that it's actually the Void Dragon is a shard of Magladroth imprisoned by the Emperor after being shattered by the Necrons, are eons-old metal skeletons with weapons powered by enslaved gods that they used to defeat the Old Ones in the War in Heaven. Ah! Okay. I've calmed down. Maybe trying to explain 40 years of ever-changing lore was a task too big for me to do in just one segment. I guess all you really need to know going into Space Marine 2 is told to you right at the beginning. In the 41st millennium, humanity stands on the brink of annihilation. The galaxy-spanning Imperium of Man is beset on all sides by hostile aliens and threatened from within by traitors and heretics. It is an age of constant war, a new dark age in which enlightenment is replaced by superstition, rhetoric, and blind prayer. To live in such times is to be one amongst untold billions, existing in the cruelest and bloodiest regime imaginable. The most powerful and dreaded of the Imperium's defenders are the Space Marines, bioengineered superhuman warriors. They are humanity's last bastion against the Terror. There is no time for peace, no respite, no forgiveness. Oh, also, yes, that is a baby with a skull head and wings. That's one of the tamer things the Imperium does, trust me. I hope you enjoy this weird, messed up universe just as much as I do, no matter where you start.
They say Warhammer. You know what else they say?
What?
War never changes.
Yeah, war never changes. I agree. I have to ask, what are your plans after college? I mean, you have all this time now. What are you going to be doing?
If I don't get a job, I'll go hit the casino. Gambling.
Go to Vegas.
Go to Vegas.
Yeah, hopefully no apocalypse happens while you're there.
Hopefully the game isn't rigged from the start.
Yeah, those could be really frustrating when that happens and you just lose everything.
It feels apocalyptic.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I believe you have a segment for Fallout New Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we should talk about it and see what you have to say about the game.
Yep. In my time as part of IUP TV's Press Start, I have mostly made segments about RPGs. I talked about Pokemon my freshman year and this year, then Prey 2017, my junior year. Now I'm going to talk about my favorite RPG, and in my opinion, the best RPG of all time. That game is Fallout New Vegas.
Bruh.
I want to talk about why New Vegas is my favorite RPG and one of the best there is around. So let's get into it. Let's start off with the character builder. Unlike many RPGs, Fallout has always had a classless RPG system. You can put your skill points into any skill you want. Some skills include guns, stealth, energy weapons, and barter. This mixing and matching of skill points and thinking of different or strange combinations makes New Vegas so replayable. For example, stealth can be mixed with different weapons, skills, that can create many new ways of facing foes. Or skills like lockpicking and hacking allow players to travel around the open world in different ways, like breaking into buildings. However, it's not just the skills that make New Vegas special. The perk system also allows people to further customize their characters. For example, New Vegas is a sci-fi western game with a lot of cowboy shenanigans. Many people want to make a cowboy character naturally. With the cowboy perk, the player will deal more damage to foes with any lever action or revolver weapons. But it's not just increased damage that these perks can give to players. Some perks allow a complete change in play styles. For example, Terrifying Presence perk allows the player to intimidate foes through dialogue and cause foes to flee away for a few seconds. Animal Friend causes usually hostile foes to become neutral in combat. And Cannibal perk allows you to, be a, there are dozens of other perks that players can choose if the player has the right skills and stat requirements. Stats are very similar to the ones in D&D. Fallout uses a special system: strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. All of these skills determine factors like critical hit chance, skill point amount per level, and skill determination. However, stats are separate from skills too. So a player can max out strength, which usually determines carry weight and melee damage, but still put points in guns. That is typically usually determined by agility. It's ultimately up to you how you want to build it. Outside of character building, the player has multiple weapons that they can use, like shotguns, rifles, knives, laser guns, mantis gloves, and pulse grenades. Every kind of fighting style is represented and has a good number of weapons. That includes hand-to-hand combat. The weapons are a mixture of Wild West, Cold War, World War II, modern and sci-fi weapons. They are all spread around the world too to access. In New Vegas, unlike other RPGs, it takes place in an open world. This allows players to accomplish tasks whenever they want. They can do side quests or focus on the main story. You can even skip big parts of the story. Many of the quests, both the story and the side quests, have multiple endings and branching paths. For example, the first quest of the game makes the player side with a small town or a gang called the Powder Gangers. The player can side with whoever they want, or just ignore the quest. New Vegas does one more thing that no other RPG really does from what I know. You can take out anyone in this game. Yeah, you know what I mean. No characters are safe if you, the player, wants to take them out. That adds multiple RPG elements, but also allows the player to create their own story and morality. This hit list can also include companions and faction leaders as well. You can take out nearly anyone. Finally, let's talk about the story, or the stories that the player can create. The player is a mailman who was shot by a man in a fancy suit, who is played by Matthew Perry. The player has to find this man and decide what faction to help to take over New Vegas. So Fallout New Vegas takes place in the Fallout universe, a universe where it's a post-apocalypse after a giant nuclear war. And many factions are emerging that all have kind of quirks to each of their factions. The major factions are the New California Republic, a failing expansionist republic, the Kaiser's Legion, an ultra-militarist patriarchy who wants to replicate the Roman Empire, Mr. House, the tech oligarch of New Vegas, and Yes Man, a robot that allows the player to take control of New Vegas themselves. Each of the factions have power relationships around Nevada that have rivals or allies with smaller factions. Outside of the main game, there are 4 DLCs. One is a sci-fi B-movie adventure with a disturbing twist. One is a survivor horror set in an abandoned hotel. One is a kind of religious experience set in a national park. One is a lonesome road with a man seeking to unite a fallen world through kind of chaos, in my opinion. I'm not going to spoil much because it's a great game to experience. And ultimately, Fallout New Vegas is my favorite RPG because of its freedom and player independence. Everything is made to allow the player to build their own story and see how wild things can go according to the player's own actions. This is Carson Zdroga, and keep gaming, Indiana.
Johnny Guitar. Play it again, Johnny Guitar.
You know, the apocalypse can be very scary.
Yeah, especially with all the monsters roaming around the area. I would not want to interact with them.
Yeah, but you know what's really scary?
What's that?
Singing.
Oh, yeah, especially if the monsters themselves sing.
Yeah, like a monster with like theater kid energy. Dear God.
Yeah, I believe it, but I think Jamie has a segment for seeing monsters. Maybe we should go to him and learn more about these monsters.
Hello monster handlers, I'm Jamie, and today I want to talk about a little game that I've been playing for the last 6 years, My Singing Monsters. My Singing Monsters, or MSM for short, is a simulation game where you collect different singing monsters to complete a variety of different islands, each one hosting their own unique song. So I thought, what better way to discuss the game than to do a ranking of each island in the game? For time's sake, I will only be covering the main 24 islands based on their full in-game song as of 4.8. With the preamble out of the way, let's jump right into the last place spot. Taking last place is unfortunately Seasonal Shanty. Seasonal Shanty acts as an island completely dedicated to the seasonal class of monsters, a class that represents different in-game seasonal events. Before the release of the island, we had 6 seasonals that were the starting roster when Shanty came out, with all 6 being vocalists, and you can already begin to see a problem emerge. There are no instrumentalists. With these subsequent seasonal added, it became clear that they were first designed around their home island and theming with how they'd actually work together second. This leaves Shanty terribly imbalanced as a song, and because of this imbalance, we're left with a song that feels both too full due to having 8 vocalists clashing, but also too empty due to having no substantial instruments. The monsters on this island aren't bad by any means, but by design they feel they're made to be additions, support for the song they're on, but Shanty is just a song composed of purely support, with no bass to actually hold up. The song's imbalance and lack of substance is the main reason why Seasonal Shanty is the worst island in the game. Celestial Island saw the return of the Celestials, a group of monsters from MSM's prequel game Dawn of Fire. When they finally were brought over to the main game, nearly all 12 of these Celestials received a serious downgrade in quality and complexity. The full song itself isn't bad, however, the immense fall off of this class is only one of the reasons why this island is so low. In a bizarre design decision, to actually acquire these monsters, you have to zap just an obscene amount of single elemental eggs. This ends up being not hard, but extremely tedious and just not fun at all. Complete disappointment and tedium Celestial Island is what lands placement on the list. Similarly to Celestial, Tribal Island is low on the list for mechanical reasons. The song of Tribal Island is pretty decent, but it's nothing special. However, to actually complete the song, you need to gather members into a tribe. Unfortunately, it's very rare to actually join or create a tribe full of members that consistently contribute to your tribe's level each week. If you don't have a bunch of friends who play the game, it just becomes frustrating. This island is fun in concept, but ends up falling flat in execution, putting it in 22nd place. Psychic Island is another case where an island is just okay, but that's the entirety of why Psychic Island is where it is. Psychic Island is an okay island that to me just doesn't do enough to really stand out. The original song was just okay, and pretty much every edition has also just been okay. Bookworm is fine, adding a little bit of percussion. The dipsters aren't bad, but they're not doing much. And the most recent addition, Harrionette, just adds another instrument to the chorus. But that finally leads us to the Fire expansion monsters. While Edamame and Bisonorous didn't leave much of an impact, we got Bowhead, the only substantial addition to Psychic Island. It plays for the entirety of the song and definitely has improved it. Unfortunately though, I don't think the water top boss is enough to get Psychic Island any higher than 21st. Unlike the previous spots, Fire Haven is the first island where I don't view it in a negative light. Haven isn't bad, and it's not mediocre to the point of frustration. The island has some incredible monsters like Stog, Repetillo, Bazinga, Glow, and even Epic Wubbox, who works pretty well here. With all that being said, I simply just don't consider this island all that extraordinary when compared with the rest of the islands on the list, which is why it lands at only 20th place. Unlike the previous spot, Fire Oasis is an island that has some unique aspects that elevate it as a song. Lullaby is an absolutely fantastic monster that's the backbone of the island. Trouble was such a great addition that adds a strong closure, bringing the song together. And this island has my favorite rare Wubbox by far. I absolutely adore it on Oasis. However, I feel like there are quite a few monsters that hold this island back and disrupt the vibe that the song is going for. Common Wubbox, Epic Wubbox, and Mimic really halt the momentum the song is trying to build. So while there's a lot to love about Fire Oasis, I feel like some of the additions drag it down to only 19th on the list. Next is the island that started it all, Plant Island. Plant Island showcases an issue that all of the natural islands face. The natural islands are the first 5 islands added to the game, and over time it had a lot of additions to their songs. And it's gotten to the point that there's been so many new monsters added, it becomes detrimental. So nowadays the full Plant Island just has no room to breathe. We have gotten some absolutely fantastic monsters like Gas, Sugarbush, and Gajook, but particularly all 3 Wubbox seriously ruined the song. So while Base Plant Island is a very solid song and has some great monsters, the Wubboxes make it so I can only give Plant Island 18th place. Through the storm, we visit Woodland Island next. Woodland Island is an island with a ton of phenomenal monsters. Thwack, Giger, Poke, and Screamo are all great here, and the island is also home to a lot of really good monsters as well. The only issue with Woodland Island, however, is how cluttered the song feels. Seriously, at times it gets to the point of just sounding like noise. I feel like some of the woodlands could definitely be cut to make leeway for the rest. All in all, while it's definitely an enjoyable song, it's a bit too clustered, so I'll have to drop it at the 17th spot. Cold Island is the first island on the list where I really don't have any complaints. I don't have really much to say on Cold Island, even though it's probably the most well-known song from MSM. It's just really solid. Some standouts I'd like to quickly mention are Bogart, Furcorn, Quibble, and Strombonen, all of which do a fantastic job on Cold. In short, this is just a good island. I think everything above achieves something greater than Cold Island in at least some aspect. Bone Island is an island highly regarded within the community. However, I think with time it's fallen a bit lower for me just due to listening to Bone so many times. Despite this, Bone Island has many great monsters such as Toejammer, Blackula, Stog, Fangler, Wither, Banjaw, Clavavera, and the Dipsters. One more thing that's affected this ranking is unlike the other magicals, it doesn't improve nearly as much with the Fire expansion update. And as of recording, has no Titan Soul or Paranormal. Editor, if anything releases, put in my opinion of that, and if it changes my placement, 15th.
So since recording, we did get Arcarina, Bone Island's Paranormal, and I loved the design and sound of this guy, but I don't think it was enough to change Bone's ranking up or down on the list for me. So it'll stay where it is at 15th place.
Air Island ranks next, and it is a very unique situation. As stated back on Plant Island, the natural islands have a lot of additions that end up being detrimental, and Air Island embodied this to a T. The original Air is really good. Unfortunately, Common, Rare, and Epic Wubbox have ruined the first half of the song. Like, it is bad. Fortunately, the latter half is still amazing with the likes of Quibble, this island's Wordles, Perelsona, and Stuarb, and especially Riff, making it impeccable. So the full modern version of Air Island is a real mixed bag, but its positive traits managed to place it 14th on the list. Gold Island may just be the most unfortunate case on this list, as it is by far the most upsetting example of an addition ruining the entire song. And it sucks too. Gold's Epic Wubbox is so cool in concept, but the execution ended up throwing off the very delicate balance of Gold Island. It's borderline comical because the melodies of Epic Wubbox are great, but the bass synth doesn't sound good, it has a serious volume issue, and only plays for half of the measures, causing the song to just sound off. Despite this, it's still Gold Island, which still has near perfect performances, so while it's not nearly as good, it still ranks just below halfway. Finishing up the first half of the list, we have Water Island. This island is just really cool. It's quite a relaxing tune with the likes of Tweedle, Geode, Perelsona, and Magpie. Sponge, Pummel, Dandy-Doo, and the Castle Bass doing a great job at setting the tone. But I have to, for the final time of the list, I swear, I have to bring up how Wubbox and Epic Wubbox really break the tone of the song. I do love Water Island, but yeah, the Wubboxes do drag the song down, so it'll land right at 12th place. But do you know what island actually has Wubboxes that fit the song? The final natural, Earth Island. It's kind of no surprise that Earth Island is the best of the 5 natural islands. It has a perfect foreboding theme, which can be partially attributed to one of the best quads, Chorister, has some really outstanding showings from the natural monsters, and it's just plain catchy. Earth also has some great additions with Talker and Stuarb, Humbug, Hehehe, and Wubboxes that actually fit in. The song is just great. It really feels like you're doing the earthquake when listening to Earth Island. So it lands a very respectable 11th place, just missing the top 10. Actually kicking off the top 10, we have Amber Island. To me, Amber Island is really special. The journey from release to final update was frustratingly memorable. However, the dust settled, we got our quints, and now we're left with a wonderful combination of the fire class. Monsters like Kana, Flugel, Rudy Toot, Trilby, Souza, Dromedary, Tusky, and Gnarls really make this island what it is. I also really respect how Amber takes its time and gives the song time to breathe. It does a really good job at balancing 32 monsters, letting it land a 10 on the list. Magical Sanctum is an island with a very unique feel to it. The song flawlessly encapsulates the feeling of a sanctum. The distinctive sound of monsters like Zyster, Ostax, Mushaboom, Larvalus, G'day, and Chantling, and the castle base define said feeling and do a great job at making a fantastic song. This is also a case of an island being basically perfect as is, but the addition of Carolong built on Sanctum's theming and the dipsters are utterly amazing here. All in all, Magical Sanctum is an island with no fat and simply just sounds amazing, which is why it's 9th place on the list. Mythical Island was a no-brainer for the top 10. The roster for this island is stacked. We have the likes of Gajoob, Strombonen, Hehehe, Bazinga, and Struggle, all together for one song. And they're all just as, if not better than the first outing. Along with those guys, we have the Dream Element monsters. Besides Sporo, who flawlessly fills the role as the main percussion on Mythical, Catalyst and the rest of the Dream Mythicals add support and depth. Mythical also expertly pulls off the feeling of a triumphant anthem and lullaby so well. Everything here just slots into place and works so seamlessly. It easily earns its rank among the best at 8th place. Light Island is easily the island that's had the biggest glow up. From release to its original completion, Light was criticized for nearly all of the fire and natural monsters being incredibly repetitive and playing for the entirety of the song. However, the Fire expansion update brought new life to this island, and nowadays it's easy to see all of Light's positives. Starting off, Flores is a monster of pure beauty. The music box combined with a choir is perfect for a Light island. Despite its size, God makes the backbone of the song, while also sounding just lovely. Furcorn performs a wonderful reinterpretation of its plain island track, and while you would expect Sousa to clash with the song, the juxtaposition really works. Finally, Tiawa, Dromedary, and Phospharian Phlox really tie the island together and make it what it is. And what it is the 7th best island in My Singing Monsters. Ethereal Island has historically been known as one of the best islands in MSM, and it's easy to see why. The monsters on this island are so well made, and everything just sounds so good. From Geode in the intro, to the power trio of Sox, Nebulob, and Kazillion in the pre-chorus, to the absolute mastery of the chorus with Wisp, Bellafish, Oraculele, and especially Fungprey. I also have to address the newest addition, Epic Wubbox. It's pretty good. It's a bit much in the first measure, but I love its melody. Overall, Ethereal Island is a wondrous island that's remained so consistent, it just had to land high up on the list, just outside the top 5 at number 6. Starting the top 5, we have the most recent island, Plasma Islet. Call it recency bias, but this island was handled so well. Starting off with Whale, and this might just be one of the best choir monsters in the game. It's heavenly. Along with that, we have Ogler, who sounds godlike in Plasma, and Gast, who is likewise fantastic alongside his electronic piano compatriot. Finally, the entirety of Loeb's verse is so good, and the ending is just heavenly. It's truly an indescribably beautiful island all around, and a perfect way to bring back the double ethereals. It did not disappoint. At number 4, we have Sugarbush Island. In collaboration with Christian Bush of the band Sugarland, Sugarbush Island and the Sugar Fam were created. This entire family of monsters were performed by professional-grade instruments to make a remix of Lover Money. All of the Sugar Fam are perfect monsters. They are legitimately the best group of monsters in the game. Alongside the fam, the monsters added alongside transform Lover Money into a wonderful remix. Every monster does great on this island, like the Sugar Fam, Mammoth, Furcorn, Deej, Quibble, Octopus, Potbelly, even Vivian, the first addition to the song in a decade, does a perfect job at filling in with percussion. Sugarbush is just perfect all around, from the sound, balance, and additions. It's just a great island. At third place, we have Magical Nexus. Despite Magical Nexus being generally overlooked, I think this island is awesome. We get to see the return of some fan-favorite magicals such as Flutefly, Clackula, Gob, Pechidna, Ruba, Tutu, Wither, and Fiddlement, all of which do wonderful here. Nexus also shines a light on some monsters that didn't get to do much on their home island. Monsters like Poppet, Pluckbill, Uduk, Clavinot, and Bloat get a more substantial role in Nexus, which is really cool, especially in Bloat's case. Magical Nexus is just a quality island, feels like a love letter to the magical West, and I adore it for that. At second, we have Ethereal Workshop. I fell in love with this island since launch, and it's remained great. The monsters on Workshop are unorthodox and weird, but end up working so well. Eurik, Blairet, Ogler, and all of the quads are really something special here. There are also plenty of monsters like Amoebkin and Flask who do a great job at adding depth to the Workshop. This island also houses my favorite monster, Bemebeth, so I just had to put it high up. But I think there's just one island, in my opinion, better than Ethereal Workshop. Fairy Island is my favorite island in MSM. This island just does everything right. From beginning to end, Fairy Island is perfect in my eyes. The monsters introduced here like Flutefly, Whimsies, Cantorol, Bridget, and Platy all sound so great, and the utilization of Drumpler, Mammoth, Ziggurat, and Stog was executed flawlessly. And every addition to Fairy has just been magical. Fiddle is the best sounding seasonal in my eyes, the Dipsters here are one of my favorites, and Owlesk sounds so unique and cool. Finally, Krillby sounds godly. Tusky is so strong here duetting with Krillby. This island seriously raised my opinion of Pongping. It's really fun here. Overall, I love everything about Fairy Island. There's no other spot for it besides number 1. And that's every island in my Singing Monsters ranked. I hope you all give the game a chance or just listen to some of the songs on YouTube or streaming. They're definitely worth it. Happy monstering and keep gaming, Indiana.
Well, that just leaves with me. I hope, even without anyone here, all the teams here, I hope you keep on watching the show because there's still great people here that are going to make great segments. I believe in them. But for now, thank you so much for watching this show, and remember to keep gaming. Take care.